Okay, good morning. It is 8:20, and I'd like to call the September 4th, 2025 meeting of the Civil Service Commission to order. And note, we do have a quorum with all commissioners in attendance. We have 3 items on the agenda, and it's a little bit more than usual. Does anybody have specific time restraints, so we want to be sure? Okay. Item number 1 is certification of the hiring list for the position of police officer. That discussion.
Yes. So we followed the process that the commission has approved a long time ago for our rolling test cycles. You have the usual demographic information that we provide after every police officer and firefighter testing that we do in front of you. We started accepting applications for this particular testing cycle back on January 23rd, which was our application deadline for the last cycle that we tested for. We ended up with 97 individuals who applied. Obviously, not everyone who applies decides to participate in testing for various reasons, but everyone who did apply was invited to test. We offered 4 testing days for those folks who needed to do the post and or the PT test. We ended up having 20 folks participate in the written test. This was the first time since you approved the use of calculators for the post-test back in May that we actually did a testing cycle. And so calculators were provided to everyone who participated with us to take the post. We ended up having 13 folks participate in the physical fitness testing. We had 7 individuals qualify for interviews. Interviews were held earlier this week, and the interviews resulted in 3 individuals on the hiring list in front of you. One of whom is ILEA certified. And with that, I welcome any questions you would have.
I feel like this, the number of the applications received to who took the written test is lower than normal. Is that true?
I would say that that's the case. I didn't go through and crunch numbers, but again, I'm attributing that to the fact that we were accepting applications since January. This, the timing in between cycles this time was a lot longer than usual. We've been kind of averaging testing 3 or 4 times a calendar year, and so the fact that we've been accepting applications, January, that was the first of the month, and here we are in September, I think definitely attributes to that. Again, we actually reached out to folks twice while we were trying to schedule folks for testing, and unfortunately our numbers are what they are for folks who decided that they wanted to participate in this particular cycle.
Tracy, was there anyone that indicated they wanted to test and you weren't able to accommodate?
No. Obviously one of the benefits of the way that we've been doing the rolling testing cycles is testing in more manageable groups and being able to pivot quickly if someone does have a legitimate reason for not being able to test on the days that we have identified that we've got facilities available to test. But this particular cycle, I didn't have anyone communicate that they weren't able to come on the days that we had already had assigned. So, but we do still have that ability to do an individual test if someone does have something come up where they're not able to come, and we just do an individual testing for that particular person.
That's one of the big changes that we made that you all approved, and you can remember it, Rick. Back in the day, it was a test date, take it or leave it. And if a person was out of town or at a wedding, well, we'll see you next time. So I really appreciate HR's hard work and being able sometimes even to do almost one-off tests for people. So I just wanted to make sure that was still happening. Obviously it is. I'm really happy. Our numbers would be even less if we were just doing it the old way. I got excited about the 97 too, but the point she makes is there are some people on that list who probably got jobs in the meantime. And then I'm sure some people apply with, just kind of maybe they'll try it, maybe they won't. But 97 is a good group to start with, and it just always gets whittled down pretty quickly. But.
Yeah. And I did hear from several individuals when we had reached out to schedule them for testing that the timing for them, this particular cycle, just didn't work out for them for whatever reason. So of course we always encourage folks that, the application will be available for the next testing cycle very soon. So please do apply, and we would look forward to reaching out to them again. to see if that timing, works out better for them than it did this particular time.
And that's another good point. We are always accepting applications. That's another change. We used to not. We'd have a finite period of time. So we're always accepting. We have to have a cutoff for applications to be in by a certain time to make it to a certain testing date. But if they miss it, they could still apply the very next day. They would just be tested for the next academy opening, and that's typically how we've done it in the past. We try to get a testing cycle in if needed before each, and there's 4 academies a year. They usually do it quarterly. We skipped this we just weren't going to have time to get someone in the academy that is going on as we speak. But the people now on this list, if they get through the background and get a job offer, they will start the academy in January.
And speaking to the fact that we're always accepting applications, we often see folks who, if they don't have success in either the post and or the physical fitness test for that particular cycle, we encourage them, please do, you know what you need to work on. If you didn't pass this time, you can go ahead and apply, and it'll often be within the next week. We'll see those people apply for the next testing cycle and hopefully have success in the next one.
Is that common to have almost a 50% fail rate on the physical fitness?
I would say this particular cycle, we had more people than normal fail. Again, I didn't crunch any numbers, but unfortunately, we do have folks fail. The PT that we do is the same physical fitness test that is required by the ILEA, and so we do post the passing thresholds. That's posted year-round on our website, so that folks who are interested in testing can look and see and help them train to figure out where they need to be to meet. But it is unfortunate that our numbers this time did seem a little bit higher than normal for folks who weren't successful with the physical fitness testing.
And one thing the ILEA does, we do the testing to get them through our process, and then about 2 weeks prior to the academy starting, they have to go take the PT test again. And if they don't pass it, then there's no faking it on that. They have to be ready. So, a rule of thumb that in my experience, even at my former agency, almost every stage of the process, whether it being application to showing up to the test, then taking the test, seems to cut it almost in half. So I'm not super surprised by half of, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. The thing that's frustrating with the physical fitness especially is it's not a surprise.
Right.
A post-test is a little different. You might, even though we offer practice tests, some people don't afford themselves with that. But you can look online and know I need to do X amount of push-ups, X amount of sit-ups, and run in this amount of time. So, but you'd be surprised.
Which is an assessment in and of itself, really.
Right, exactly.
If somebody can figure out what they need to do to get
Right.
physically fit.
Yeah.
Any problems or any adjustments you feel like we need to make?
No.
No, I feel like it's continuing to work for us very well, both on the HR side, and I don't want to speak for Chief, but
No, I think I think we're ahead of the curve on the changes we've made to try to get more applicants through the door. I think other agencies are probably following suit. The old model of, take it or leave it, one date, finite application period it just wasn't going to work for us. So right now we're authorized 85, we have 81. So that's where we're.
Well, that was my next question. You got 4 openings?
Correct.
And then you're projecting how much in the next 6 months or so?
Turnover? Well, it's hard. There are no scheduled retirements in that amount of time. You never know if someone's considering doing something else, but average attrition is a couple of year that we don't anticipate. But
So basically, we're going to be doing this process again very soon, I assume.
yeah, Tracy loves to hear that.
So and this, it's not on the agenda, but can we just take care of that now and approve the previous process for the next testing cycle?
well, we already have your approval for the rolling test cycle, so we've been operating under that approval. So unless there are any changes that are needing to be made, we're just going under that previous approval. And as you've alluded to, I'm expecting that we'll be testing first part of next year again.
Or sooner?
I feel like that's just how it goes. I feel like we're just always
Right.
playing catch up.
if we were to, which we haven't, and I don't know how realistic it is, we don't overhire.
Yeah.
So say we were to get to 85, we would probably take a breath for a little while, but we would be, there used to be a period of time when I first arrived, there was a list of, Tracy, you might remember, but it was 25 or more people on the list that I inherited. Most of those had been gone through, but those days are over. So a list that would last years potentially, or though it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And again, the good news is we're not trying to hire 15 people. We're trying to hire a handful. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion to certify the hiring list for the position of police officer for the city of Iowa City?
Motion to certify.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. All approved, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Thank you. Next item is item number 2, Deputy Chief Promotional Testing, staff discussions.
So, as in the memo that was provided in the packet, we do have a vacancy at Deputy Fire Chief, and our promotional list that we had has expired, so we're coming to you for approval for a new process. As the memo laid out, the process that we are proposing after having consultation with Chief Lyon is that candidates will be required to submit an application, a resume, and appropriate documentation of the required degree for this particular position. All candidates who are eligible will then be able to participate in a panel interview, and we're recommending that the panel interview be comprised of city department directors, city division heads, and other internal stakeholders. And if the commission wishes to participate, you can appoint a member of yourselves to participate on the panel. And candidates will be required to achieve a minimum passing score on the panel interview, and then the rank hiring list will be comprised of how folks score on that particular interview. So very similar process to how we've done promotional testing for this kind of rank on both the fire side and also on the police side in the past. So Chief, I don't know if you had anything you'd like to add?
I don't. The deputy fire chief is a critical staffing piece of our organization, and really look forward to the opportunity to get the promotional process underway and get it appointed.
Any questions? So is this promotional process, are there any changes from the previous selection process or promotional process?
I believe the last time we did assessment centers for deputy chief, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe we did as well. I think it was more of a traditional model the previous time. Honestly, as I get more tenured into this position, what I'm looking for a deputy fire chief is really the person that can navigate with other department directors as they're the acting fire chief in my absence, and some of the other metrics or dimensions that may have been measured weren't of the quality that I would really expect of a deputy fire chief. This is a relationship building position, an administrative position, and those are the dimensions that I really seek to measure.
Most recently with the fire marshal, this was almost the exact same process that we followed for that promotional, and that was just over a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, there was.
Okay. And if a commission member would like to participate, what would that extent look like? Or what would that look like?
Well, there would just be interviews scheduled. Obviously, we would work with that particular commission member for their availability. Interviews would be held here at City Hall, and we would welcome any participation the commission would like to have on the panel.
Would any commission members like to participate? Okay. Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to authorize human resources staff to administer the deputy fire chief promotional testing process as presented?
So moved.
Is there a
Seconded.
second? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Item number 3, Commission Policies and Procedures Update with Potential Action.
There was a memo in your packet as well as multiple documents, one being a draft document, the other two being the actual former policies and procedure documents that were for the Civil Service Commission. With recent, I think, changes in legislation, sort of the upcoming changes that we see coming for the Civil Service Commission, where we'll be adding members, we felt this was a good opportunity to take the opportunity to update what was last reviewed in November of 1989 and create a more coherent, more relevant policy as to where we're at in this day in 2025. So Human Resources, myself, and Legal worked to pull those two documents together into a final draft document for your review. Opportunity to have a discussion on if there's any questions. I'll try to answer as best I can. Karen had something come up and wasn't able to attend, but we'll try to work through it as I was involved in that process. For the most part, it was more or less transferring things together, some cleanup. There were some items that were some slight changes. For example, one of the big ones that you'll see is, I think, before references to 400 were spelled out completely within the document. Being we're at a time where it feels more relevant to have a reference to 400. So as 400 changes, the document can stay the same because we're just referring to an existing document, and the ability to access 400 now versus back in maybe 1989 is maybe slightly different, a little bit easier to access those. So things like that were changed. We took some, for example, equal employment opportunity. We took out some specific call outs and made it more in line with what other city commissions have in order to kind of clean up that language. Otherwise, like I said, it was more of a merger of documents and an updating of procedures. We stayed away from things like the officer assignments, things like that. Something I think we'll address once we bring the other commission members on. Which will be, I think we'll cover that here in a little bit, but applications for that will be due the 9th. Council will make their recommendation or make their approvals on the 16th, and then we'll be able to proceed accordingly after that.
We're adding 2 more, is that correct?
That's correct. Last I knew, I think we had 1 application, but still plenty of time. So that's been a week or so that I've checked. So
Any questions on the document?
I just had a couple minor things. Under the number 1, equal employment opportunity, that sentence at the end of it does not make sense to me. I think it needs to read, or retaliate for the exercise of any right enumerated.
Under section 2?
Section 1. So it says the Iowa City Civil Service Commission is committed to providing equal opportunity except for blah, blah, blah.
Section 2, number 1.
Section.
oh, okay.
I'm sorry, section
No,
2, number
gotcha.
1.
It's a long sentence too.
Yeah, it's one big long sentence.
You really need a comma after performance and then or retaliate, because it's referring back to the very first don't discriminate or retaliate.
Okay.
Does that, are you following me?
Yep. Now.
And then the only other thing was section 4, 3C. It just needs to be a comma instead of a period.
Next page.
Yeah, this also,
Yep, got it.
well, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 has A, B, C, D, and then it goes 3 again.
Yeah, that should be 5.
But yeah, that should be 5.
That-
Okay.
Ashley?
Nothing from me.
Okay, so in, let's see, section 2 of the application procedures, it makes reference to not less than 10 days that the Human Resources Division shall prepare an announcement which describes all permanent job openings, which shall be posted in City Hall and other designated areas for not less than 10 days. I'm assuming that's 10 business days? Or 10 days?
It's 10 business days.
Okay. And does this allow for the current police process of ongoing acceptance of applications?
I think we referenced that this is. When we reference position, let's see. I thought we referenced.
What was the question, Rick?
Does it allow for the current police process of accepting applications all the
rolling
time? The
process.
rolling process, yes.
I believe so because when we do decide that we are going to move forward with a testing cycle, we will announce an application deadline of not more than or not less than 10 business days in the future.
So it's just accepting them.
So we're accepting year round, but then once we decide to call for a test, that
We'll set that
application
date out in the
deadline that we
future.
announce. Yeah.
Okay, and then one of the sections was deleted was the collective bargaining agreements, the applicable collective bargaining agreements, and that was on the previous policies and procedures. It just made mention of during this period and subject to the applicable collective bargaining agreements, employees who wish to compete for the position posted may submit an application. I guess I'm not sure if there are there current collective bargaining agreements that impact the application process. And this is just from the previous civil service policies and procedures.
Let me see what the notes were.
That's kind of a clunky piece of language.
Yeah.
Where's this in the old?
It's in the application procedures.
So
There's second, under the second
Okay.
bullet point.
Anecdotally speaking, I would be surprised if there is anything in a collective bargaining agreement for it because previously PERB, now EAB, has been pretty strict with us from a bargaining unit perspective of contract covers day one of hire to last day of employment. So
Okay.
that's why I would be surprised if there is anything in it, at least not that I'm aware of in fire's bargaining unit.
Right.
I don't know about, I can't speak to PD.
Sure.
And I'm trying to recall if there's anything in the ASME one that I would think that references the application process. Because it's the same thing. They're not
I would think it just covers.
Yeah,
from point of hire
yeah,
until.
that's
Okay.
what I
that's
would
pretty
guess.
typically a management right, not covered under the bargaining unit.
Okay.
I think probably the CBA would take priority over these anyway. I mean, they would have more authority than these rules.
And I'm just maybe not clear on this. Is there no longer an internal posting period, or is there?
There is not. We just have a posting period of not less than 10 business days. And so all candidates, whether they're currently employed by the city in some fashion or folks who are not currently employed, it's just one application period for all of those candidates that they'd like to apply.
Okay. And then you had already brought up the appeal hearing procedures, at least the notification process. I agree that I think it's wise just to make it in alignment with the state, but to at least make sure that employees understand what their rights are. Would there be like a link that can make it easily accessible?
You may have the same problem when the link will expire.
Exactly. Like for example, if you look up chapter 400 now, it gives an old section you have to refer to the new Senate file. I think it's 311 in order to get the information that you need. And I guess I don't want that to be a stumbling block for somebody who wants to make an appeal.
I I just wouldn't want to refer them to a
Right, a link that's
that's
not there.
existing. So I think the reference to the code section is probably
The best.
the best.
I'd agree.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we could prevent.
Well, it's a similar problem that you tried to solve by just referring to the code instead of listing the code and having to change it every time it changed. Yeah,
I mean, somebody who isn't looking at the code
right.
is got a big problem anyway.
Right.
Even if you, I mean, it's just,
It feels like the code's the best.
Yeah,
The reference to
I
it's your
kinda
best
think so.
mechanism. Because that will.
in terms of being clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand the concern about people not doing what they need to do, but there's all sorts of reasons for that.
And the last question I had, and it's more of a legal question, is there's a change in standard, and that's for just cause as opposed to the other term. The previous one was shall not be removed, discharged, demoted, or suspended arbitrarily, but may be removed, discharged, or demoted, or suspended due to any act or failure to act by the employee that is in. Well, I won't read the whole thing because it's fairly long, but it just says just cause. And is there a definition, legal definition for just cause? That, because I mean, we don't have to hash this out today, but if there would be an appeal hearing, it would be good to know what is that legal definition for just cause.
Where are you, Rick?
It would be, actually, it might be in the new state.
It's in 311, I think.
Yes, in Senate File 311.
Oh, so that's where just cause term
Yes.
comes from.
Yes.
Rather than that phrase, that long drawn out phrase, it just says just cause. And
Just because of the code.
right.
Okay.
And it would, I guess, if we were required to at least have an appeal hearing, it would be good to know what that legal definition is.
And maybe, I mean, I think with some of the changes and some of the ways that has changed as far as the appeal process, that might be something that once the new council, it would be a good discussion topic at one of your future meetings, I think, anyway.
Eleanor, wouldn't the city attorney's office, it wouldn't be their burden to prove that it was just cause and them kind of define it to you all, to your all
I
satisfaction?
think probably you're going to have, both parties are going to define just cause in a way that is
Right.
favorable to them, probably. I really hesitate to try and define it in writing because I think that just raises opportunity for error.
Yeah, it feels like a reasonable doubt situation. Just it's reasonable.
I mean,
doubt,
I think I would I certainly wouldn't want to, in writing, try and define that term. But I think at the hearing, there will be probably, the city attorney's office will tell what they think it means, and probably the attorney for the employee will say what they think it means, and the commission will just have to sort through that.
For your information too, it's in the fire's collective bargaining agreement already. It's just cause language for discipline.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty
Yeah.
well understood. It's just, it can be,
Okay. I don't have any other questions. So, does anybody else?
So right now, the way we have, I think, 3 changing one word and a couple commas. But other than that, no changes to the. So would it be once we make accept as amended? Is that sort of where we're at on that?
As long as the city attorney's office is comfortable with that. I mean,
Well, the 2 commas are.
yeah.
those are just, the only change was in that sentence.
Yeah, and I can certainly check with Jennifer to make sure that she's okay with it. But pending that,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we have a motion to accept the new policies and procedures as amended?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Okay, item 4, Civil Service Commission ordinance update.
So, kind of already covered this,
Yeah.
but just for the benefit of this particular agenda item. So, at the August 5th council meeting, council did approve the addition of 2 commissioners to the Civil Service Commission by ordinance. And so the clerk's office has been accepting applications for those new commission spots. Since then, the application deadline is September 9th. And as Chris mentioned, we believe we have at least 1 application so far for those 2 positions. And we are expecting that appointments will be made at council's September 16th meeting. So ostensibly, the next time that the Civil Service Commission meets, we will have our new members on board and can move forward with that.
Oh, which reminds me, we're supposed to take
The training.
the training, right?
Yes, I forwarded
Open
you.
records,
I think there were
open-
3 opportunities. I'm not sure if any of them have come up yet.
Okay, I forgot all about that.
September 10th, noon to 1:30 is the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. They have been filling up extremely fast, so I would. I
There's
think
the ones
sooner
September
rather
24th.
we'll send out an updated list of they're having trouble keeping capacity where it needs to be for people. So I think in your cases, I'm trying to remember, all of you were appointed prior to July 1st, correct? Mm-hmm. So technically you're fine. It's the 2 new ones are the ones that are required. We are just wanting everyone to be on the same page.
Oh.
There's no requirement for the 3 of you to.
Okay.
So it might actually be better because of capacity issues that
Oh.
you hold off on that until things open up. There's 2 more entities.
That's what I want to do is read more about open record.
Yeah, there's 2 more entities that are trying to become certified providers of the training. Allers Law Firm in Syrup, and then League of Cities, I believe, is also trying to get a certified training through because it's just a bottleneck right now at the IPIB location. So I think they're only taking 30. It's like 36 at a time, I want to say, are able to take it, and they're just overwhelmed.
So maybe best just to wait.
I would wait. I think it's best. We'll
Yeah, that
we'll
makes
update you and send out. We've been having this discussion internally, and just at our last staff meeting, this came up as a hot topic. As commissioners are having a hard time getting in, so we've kind of tried to back off commissions that don't have to take it, so that there's room for the people that are required as they come on, and then we'll bring everybody else on board
Okay.
after that.
Sounds good.
And just a reminder that when you do end up taking the training, we will want a copy of the certificate that they provide to you, so we can just keep that on file in our office for those tracking purposes.
Can we get an email when things calm down a little bit and it's
When
open
the
again?
next dates open up, because the ones we have now are just through September.
And that might be all they have posted
That's
at this
all
point.
I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other input or questions? Okay.
We will have another fire department process coming to you probably at your next meeting for promotionals for pretty much everything other than deputy chief. I think lieutenant captain, battalion chief, I believe will all be potentially be coming through at your next one. We're working through that now.
Okay. Okay. It is 8:54. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Into adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.